Hey, what's up? I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to this channel. Give this video a like.
Check out our podcast below in the description. Do it right now. Do it.
I think when we talked at the beginning of the year about Alex Smith being like a comeback player of the year, it was in the context of he'll come back, take a, kind of celebratory snap, and that'll be the end of it. Not he's going to have the Washington football team in playoff contention. Not he's going to be turning the organization around with cancer fighter Ron Rivera. Not he's going to be coming, unfortunately, really in a normal year, Alex would be walking into Levi Stadium in front of a packed house. He would get a standing ovation this year, right? This Sunday would be a standing. There'd be like a video for Alex. It'd be a whole thing this week.
For sure.
It's pretty wild. I mean, you were telling me before we started you think it's underrated as a story. I'm with you.
Yeah, man, I think it's probably one of the more underrated human interest / sports stories in recent memory. And a huge part of it is just election, pandemic, everything going on. Guy, any human being that watched that E60, when he was talking about coming back, it was inspirational to watch the plight back from almost losing his leg to just being able to walk. And it tears you up. It was a powerful watch. At no point in time, the most, maybe people in his circle, but the most optimistic people had to be like, this is nuts coming back.
Not only nuts, I think we watched it. We did a video about it at the time. We're like, no, don't do it, right?
Yeah, just walk away.
Please. Yeah.
But there's a reason that, I think you see this, going on right now in society, that people like Alex don't give a shit what other people think. And I think the faster you can get to that point in time as a human being in life, it's easier to operate. Now, I just thought it would be physically impossible for him to run. I thought it would be physically impossible for him ever to get cleared. Clearly, he has not only got cleared. And then that first game, when he played against the Rams and Kyle Allen got knocked out and he came in and it was like, oh my God, Alex can't move, and Aaron Donald sacking him and jumping on his back. I'm like, this guy's going to get killed. And then he's gone on. They started winning. Now they're 5-7. They're in the mix to win the division. I mean, I think Giants have the tiebreaker over them, but they have the same record. And who knows? The Giants lose this week. They win. I mean, they could be Alex Smith could be a playoff quarterback. It's not by any means inconceivable December 10th as we're recording this. And I would have bet $1,000 impossibility for several factors. One, he just wouldn't get back on the field. Two, the Washington team was going to suck. But most importantly, like, how's he going to get on the field? He's not even on the field. He just threw for almost 300 yards against the Steelers. Like, that's on a Tuesday. Like, think how crazy that is. Just saying that out loud. The Steelers. He just beat the Steelers. He did, with a huge throw down the sideline.
They've lost the 2 games. That's why they don't have the head-to-head. The rest of the division is like a combined, I just did the math real quick, 215 point differential, negative point differential.
You're saying the Giants have swept them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but
Washington is a +4 point differential.
Well, their defense is good. Their front seven is good. That's why I think this game for the Niners is not going to be easy. Like, they do have a good front seven. Chase Young, did you see that thing go viral the other day about Tomlin? It was kind of like a humble brag / prop up to him. He's like, we never lose enough games around here to get a guy like you. We need to lose a lot of games to get a guy like you. And he gives him a high five, But again, Chase Young is just making fucking plays all over the place. He's like a Bosa brother. I mean, he's just a dominant player. When I say Chase Young over McGlinchey, I go, that's not good.
No, you're right.
I like advantage Chase Young.
You're right. There's a whole other element to Alex Smith could win this game. I do think Eric Branch had a piece about it. I read on Thursday, and it was about, Ron's from the area too and went to Cal. Just the two of them together, just what an insane combination it is, right? Of guys having beating the odds. And one thing he wrote was like, when your E60 starts with viewer discretion advised, it could get a little hairy. And that's Alex. That's how, if you watched it, like it was, and you and I did, it was awful. I think the thing, and I thought this before the leg injury, that Alex had just had one of the most consistent displays of mental toughness from a professional athlete that we've seen consistently. The pressure that comes with being a number 1 pick, the complete dysfunction in the organization, 3 head coaches, 7 offensive coordinators in 7 years. I think it was 17 different starting receivers in that span, 0 consistency on his roster. He had Jerry Rice came out and said this guy is not the future of the franchise. I think one of the things with Alex is that he couldn't escape all the noise. Like, he did care. He did hear all of it. It was nonstop. One of the most embarrassing things I've ever witnessed from a head coach when on Sunday Night Football against the Eagles, I had forgotten this till I went back and looked. It was the year before Harbaugh took over. Like, they were 3-13 the year before Harbaugh, and Singletary starts getting David Carr warmed up on the sideline, gets in a shouting match with Alex, and then doesn't put David in, even though the crowd is chanting for David Carr, and then says after the game, like, he did it just to, get Alex's fire going or something, as if Alex Smith needed that. Complete joke. I mean, really, talking about misreading your personnel. A complete joke. And Alex then, resurrects it. Then he gets replaced by Colin, handles it like a pro, goes to Kansas City, takes the resurrection to another level.
Well, guy, when he got replaced by Colin, they had just lost in the NFC Championship game. And if memory serves me correct, he was coming off the next year, the best game of his career, and he got a concussion. He was playing at they were dominant with him. Now,
didn't
Colin
get replaced
just was
because
a different element.
It's a great point, though. He didn't get replaced because he wasn't playing well. Goes to Kansas City, happens again. Goes to gets replaced by who knows?
That one's easier to stomach.
It is, but still, he had found a home. It was working. He was better than he'd been in San Francisco, and
they had just lost to Tennessee at home in a playoff game.
I know. But
Marcus Mariota beat him. Yeah.
Then he goes to Washington, and then it's really, this is how it's going to end. Him in Washington on this shitty organization, and then the whole thing is just wild.
Well, Guy, do you remember when he got injured? They were 6-2 with Gruden. He had just found this sweet spot of no one thought he was a top 5 quarterback, but clearly everyone was acknowledging he's way better than we all thought.
Yeah.
He was a good player. For him even to be a functional player, what scares me a little bit for him against the Niners, they do take advantage of guys that don't move that well. And Alex used to move well. Now he's much more of a pocket quarterback. It could be a tough matchup just for his they do feel pretty comfortable against guys like him.
Yeah. I like the Niners -3 points this week, largely because of that. But I don't know, John. The other element is Kyle Shanahan said after the game the other day, we got to win 4 games in a row to make the playoffs.
Well, he's right.
Well, I mean, we know he's right. I'm just saying, do his players fully buy into, all right, time to go after that nugget? Or are they just we are worn the F out. We're down here in Arizona. The seat, it's a long shot, even if we win the next 4. What do the Niners have this week?
Washington has way more to play for, to me, than the Niners do, because they're you're just such a Hail Mary. Where Washington, every win, they are just.
You're saying just because Washington could just win their division.
Well, that's their option to win the division. They could win the division at 7-9. The Niners, they go split 2-2, so they go 7-9. It's irrelevant for them.
They have the same record.
I know.
Which also,
I actually think, big picture, it might be better for the Niners to lose. I think there's a chance if you lose 3 of these last 4, you're 6-10 and have a top 10 draft pick, and you're in position. Because let's face it, if they end up going 7-9, you're picking 14. You'd rather just win 1 less game and probably be at 9 and just be in position to have options, and that's the key. Now, I just think Kyle's good enough that. Who knows? Things could get weird. But I think there's a decent path for them to go 1-3 these last 4 games. And this would be a game they could potentially lose. Now, if they win this, they could probably beat the Cowboys. And then even if they lost their last 2, they're at 7-9. But if they lose this game, are you with me that they have potential to get to they could be 6-10?
Yeah, for sure. And then I think the other element becomes I would just start betting on them as a bounce-back team next year, especially if Arizona can find a way to win a couple games and the Niners can end up with a last-place schedule in 2021. So,
it doesn't seem pretty impossible for the Niners not to finish last place.
Well, I don't know. Arizona.
Kyler's kind of banged up.
They're 6-6. Niners win this
week.
They
play at the Giants. Who do you like in that game?
Probably the Giants. No, sorry, the Cardinals.
Well, but Kyler's hurt. He's not healthy.
I know.
That's part of the problem. Was Daniel? Yeah, it's just. Right. Okay, so the Arizona wins that game. If the Niners were to lose, it basically.
Yeah, then it's over. But. What's Arizona? Lost 5 of 6?
You would rather finish in 4th place than 3rd place. Double whammy.
Unless you're making schedule. The playoffs, yeah.
Yeah, and they're not. So 4th place schedule, draft picks.
This is cool though, man. watching Alex in this spot. I wish he had a crowd. Well, hopefully he'll get. I don't know how it'll match up if he'll ever have a chance to play a road game against the Niners again. But
not last place schedules
against the first and a first place schedule, Washington.